Have you ever wondered what would happen if a pilot showed up to the cockpit drunk, high or even slightly under the influence before a flight? Imagine stepping onto an aircraft, trusting the crew with your life, only to later discover one of them wasn't clean. It's a terrifying thought. In today's episode of Flipside 05, we're pulling back the curtain on one of aviation's most sensitive but most important safety topics: the restrictions on drugs and alcohol for flight crew. And trust me, this isn't just about rules on paper, it's about life and death. Our aviation authorities, such as the Federal Aviation Administration in the United States, the European Union's Aviation Safety Agency, as well as the International Civil Aviation Organization working with civil aviation authorities worldwide, have some of the strictest rules imaginable, because impairment at 40,000 feet simply isn't an option. Pilots and cabin crew are forbidden from drinking within at least 8 hours of a flight, a rule famously known as bottle to throttle. Some airlines stretch it even further to 12 hours, and even if a pilot swears they're fine, their blood alcohol concentration must still be below 0.04%, which is half the legal limit for driving in many countries. Drugs like cocaine, marijuana, and amphetamines, or even certain prescription medications that cause drowsiness, are completely off limits unless specifically cleared by an aviation medical examiner. The rule is simple. If it affects your reflexes, judgment, or clarity of mind, it has no place in the cockpit. But rules alone aren't enough. The aviation industry builds layers of protection to make sure crews stay clean. Airlines enforce strict zero-tolerance policies, sometimes even stricter than the regulators themselves. From day one, pilots and cabin crew are educated about how even small amounts of alcohol or medication can impair judgment. And perhaps most importantly, pilots are trained to look out for each other. If a colleague appears suspicious or unfit, they're expected to speak up, no matter how uncomfortable that might be. Beyond that, pilots go through regular medical checks where their overall fitness and mental health are evaluated. These aren't measures of mistrust, but rather essential barriers designed to protect lives. And then comes the part many pilots describe as the great equalizer: random unannounced drug and alcohol tests. These can happen right before a flight without any warning. A pilot can be minutes away from stepping into the cockpit when they're pulled aside for a breathalyzer or a urine test. Blood tests and even hair follicle tests are also used, with hair samples capable of revealing substance use from months earlier. The thresholds are unforgiving. With alcohol, anything above 0.04% means instant grounding. With drugs, there's zero tolerance. Even trace amounts can end a career. The message is crystal clear. There are no second chances when safety is at stake. What happens if someone fails a test? They are immediately removed from duty, no questions asked. The airline notifies regulators and a full investigation begins. Depending on the severity, the pilot may lose their license, their medical certification, and in some cases even face criminal charges. For the airline, it's a matter of reputation and trust, so enforcement is ruthless. One recent case shows exactly how this works. In August 2023, a Delta Airlines pilot was pulled from his flight in Edinburgh, Scotland, after staff suspected he had been drinking. A breath test confirmed alcohol in his system, and he was instantly removed before passengers even realized what had happened. The flight was delayed, but the system worked. The barrier caught the problem before it ever reached the cockpit. All of this is part of a bigger safety net, one designed to make it nearly impossible for an impaired pilot to slip through. Mandatory rest periods prevent fatigue that could drive pilots to stimulants. Crew members are empowered to stop a flight if they suspect impairment. Whistleblowers are protected so no one fears speaking up. Above it all, the random testing never stops. It might sound harsh, but in aviation, every life matters. Every flight is a contract of trust between passengers and crew. The industry leaves nothing to chance. So next time you see your pilots and cabin crew walking confidently through the airport, remember this: behind the uniform lies not just training and skill, but also a system of strict rules, countless checks, and a culture built on putting your safety first. Flying high might sound glamorous, but for pilots, the real goal is always flying safe. I'm Solomon and this is Flipside 05. If you found today's episode eye-opening, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that take you behind the cockpit door. Until next time, stay safe and keep looking up at the skies.